Yeah, good win last Saturday to get started. It's good to be 1-0. Obviously, have a lot of work to do, a lot to improve on, but so many good things to build on from last week. Certainly jumping into SEC play immediately, which we're excited about. I know it'll be a fantastic environment out in Fayetteville on Saturday morning, and we've got a really good team that we're playing. Sam's done an awesome job with his squad, and I had a great 2 years working with him at Georgia, Kirby's first 2 years, and somebody that I think a lot of. And certainly when you watch his team play, it reflects Sam. And they play really, really hard. They're really, really physical, and got a big challenge, but our guys are excited to get out there and looking forward to playing.
We'll begin with Bob Holt of the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette.
Hey, Shane, how you doing?
Doing well. Hope you are.
I'm good. Hey, I know you were at OU this season with Jaden Hazelwood, who's here at Arkansas. And I wonder what you remember about him when you were at OU, and maybe what you saw on the tape last week, what he was able to do against Cincinnati, and just how big a challenge he is for your defense.
Yeah, watching the tape, it reminded me of the Jaden Hazelwood that I know. I mean, I was at Georgia in 2017 when we were trying to recruit Jaden because he's from right there in Atlanta, and then obviously I was at Oklahoma with Jaden as well, and think a lot of him. He's just when I say he's got that dog mentality in him, that is a compliment. Like, he is a competitor, and you see it on tape. The catch he made for the touchdown the other day, he's out-competed the guys from Cincinnati. He's very physical, blocking on the perimeter, and will be a big challenge. Both those, all those receivers, Jaden, and then I was at Georgia with Matt Landers, and to see him come along and to see the player that he's become, I'm excited for Matt as well. But those two guys are weapons for them because of their length, and then just the competitive spirit that they play with also.
Thanks.
Yes, sir.
Next is David Cloninger of the Post-Encourager.
Hey, Shane, I was just wondering if there was an update on R.J. Roderick.
No.
Next we'll go to Mike Griffith of AJC Dog Nation.
Hey, Shane, you mentioned early on there about watching this team play and how it reflects Sam. A couple things there. One, if you could elaborate on that. And two, do you think it helped you out a bit that Sam had so much success despite maybe not coming from a traditional coordinator background in terms of getting hired at Carolina?
Yeah. In regards to reflecting Sam, I think a couple things. One, big physical offensive line. When you watch some of the plays from the Cincinnati game, if you're watching it from like the end zone copy that we as coaches do, there's times on offense where if you just pause the video, you literally can't see anyone on the front seven from Cincinnati because they've got two double teams that are covering up the two defensive tackles or two defensive linemen. And then their 6'9" offensive tackle has completely covered up the guy on the edge, or the offensive guard is up on the linebacker. So just big and physical, that they want to maul you. That's, to me, is a reflection of Sam and his offensive lines over the years. And then they just play really, really hard. You can tell they believe in what they're doing, and the effort that they play with shows it on defense and offense and special teams. And then I'm sure it didn't hurt Mike. Sam's hire was somewhat, unconventional, if you will. But he was a guy that loved Arkansas. I know from our time together in Athens how highly he spoke of his time there in Fayetteville. I'm a guy that loved and loves South Carolina. I was outspoken about that, and I think it's a good. Not that I've done anything as a head coach, but Sam's obviously done some really good things, and I think it's a good eye opener for a lot of people that just because you can call plays or be an offensive coordinator doesn't mean you're going to be a great head coach. I mean, there's so much more that goes into being a head coach than just being able to call a defense and call an offense. And the roles that I had, and I would say the roles that Sam had in his coaching career, certainly prepared us for those for the chair that we're in right now. Sam's success certainly, didn't hurt me. I can't even remember what Sam's record was the first year, but I think they had a little bit of success the year that I got hired. And then, we obviously got to keep it going as well, but it's just two guys that really love the places that they're coaching at and believe in the places they're coaching at.
Next is Mike Griffith of AJC Dog Nation. Mike, are you there?
Mr. Griffiths, please press 10 again if you'd like to ask your question. I think you were taken out of queue.
All right, we'll go to Colin Taylor of Gamecock Central.
Yeah, Shane, I guess Jaheim ran 7 times, and most of his targets were kind of at or around the line of scrimmage. Is that kind of how y'all envision using him this year, or is that going to be kind of a game-to-game basis on what his role might look like?
I think it's game-to-game, Colin. I mean, Jaheim's a guy that can do a lot of things, and, said last week, Coach Satterfield, our offensive coordinator, that Jaheim may carry the ball 15 times or whatever, and people, thought we were nuts. Well, some weeks he may. I mean, I think it's each week. We got quality running backs. I'm not saying that, but Jaheim is a guy that he's hard to bring down in the open field. He has shown that. One person rarely does. So the more we can get the ball in his hands, the better. But I think every week we look at the defense we're playing and we try and figure out the best way to attack them. And we've got lots of playmakers at the tight end position, at the wide receiver position, at the running back position, and a lot of guys that we feel comfortable with the ball in their hands. But as far as Jaheim goes, it's a nice asset in that he can carry the ball, he can put his hand in the ground and be a conventional tight end, and he can go out wide and be a receiver, which he's shown. So I think every week is different.
Next, we have Tom Murphy, the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette.
Hey, Shane, heard you yesterday talking about some of the older games between these two programs. And I guess there's always going to be that link joining in 92. Do you see parallels between, where you want to go with your program and Arkansas here over on the other side, like, your aims and trying to go up in your divisions?
Yeah, certainly. They're in the SEC West with teams that have won national championships in recent years. We're in the SEC East with teams that, just won the national championship and whatnot. So in this league, it's everybody's good. It's a battle week in, week out, but certainly it's two proud programs that we as head coaches, Sam and I both, really believe in and believe in the potential, of these programs as well. And you've got to do a great job of recruiting. You've got to do a great job of developing your players that you recruit, and we try and do that. Sam, I know, is doing that, and then you got to play really, really hard. You got to play with great effort and physicality, and I think Sam and I believe in the same things when it comes to how our football team should look, and we believe in the same things in regards to how to what we want our program to be about as well.
I want to ask you if you had any thoughts about their defensive front sevens, front six up against your O-line, and specifically Jordan Dominic didn't get a ton of run, but he made a really big play on the strip sack. If you could talk about those.
Yeah, no, they're disruptive. Coach Odom does a great job coaching those guys. That's just, active. You don't quite know what they're going to be in. Are they going to be in a, 3 down? Are they going to be in 4 down? They mix it up, and kind of game to game, you don't quite know what you're going to get. So that makes it a challenge to prepare for to begin with. And then just their personnel. I mean, you see guys they're really good up front, and then they've added 2 transfers, I guess, up front that made, significant plays on Saturday. And Bumper Poole is an unbelievable player. He's all over the field. Drew Sanders is a guy I can remember when he was a freshman in high school. We had him in our summer football camp at Georgia and offered him a scholarship at a young age. And then we tried to recruit him like crazy at Oklahoma and weren't able to get him. And it's good to see him having success. I hated this against the team we're playing this week, but he's just so active up front. Drew is. So that's the issue with them, is that they're multiple, and then they're just really, really active and very rarely staying in the same place.
Yeah, and then the Dominic play. I mean, that looked like it was a real, pivotal play in that game.
Yeah, absolutely. Not a huge play, and they've got a pass rush that we've got to be, aware of and make sure we have a good plan for.
Thank you.
Next is Alan Cole of Gamecocks coach.
Mr. Cole took himself out of queue.
Okay, we'll go to AP Stedham.
Hey, good morning, Coach.
Good morning, or afternoon here.
Afternoon, that's right. I'm sorry. Coach, I wanted to ask you about KJ Jefferson as a passer. Have you seen some improvement? And then also Hazelwood was the transfer from Oklahoma, the wide receiver. What challenges does he present?
Yeah, mentioned Jaden Hazelwood at the beginning of the call. He and I were together at Oklahoma, so I know what he's about. He's just such a competitor, and, when that ball's in the air, he believes that he's the only guy that should come down with it. And, he competes in his run blocking, the passing game, and both those receivers, he and Matt Landers both. I was with Matt at Georgia, and they've got size and length. And then as far as the quarterback, I think he's certainly dynamic, got size, and, he made some throws on Saturday against Cincinnati. And the thing that just is impressive about him is he's able to, because of his size, people have a hard time getting him down. People bounce off of him in the pocket when they try and sack him, and then he's able to get himself out of trouble, but then keep his eyes downfield and throw the ball downfield. He's not always just looking to run. And our defensive backs got to do a great job of, staying in coverage and understanding that until the play's over, you got to play the pass and the run. And I do think he's improved, and he's a major weapon for them. There's no doubt about it.
Thank you.
That's all for today, Coach. Thank you.
Thank you.